I came to win, to fight, to conquer, to thrive. I came to win, to survive, to prosper, to rise, to fly.
My name's Chris Mack, and 20 years ago I started the Amazon Dragon boat team. In the late 80s there was this group called the Oregon Citizens Alliance, and they got together petitions and used the ballot measure process to basically attack the gay and lesbian community. One of the things they wanted to do was, if you were a state employee, you could be fired for no reason other than that you were gay or lesbian. So there was a lot of anxiety in the community. The ballot measure, in fact, passed. Later it was repealed, but the Oregon Citizens Alliance, or OCA, started a number of initiatives for anti-gay initiatives. That I'm bad, or that you don't like me, or that I'm evil. And I think those were the things that OCA was saying back then. And it was a very stressful, difficult time to be out. But a lot of us came out then. It was important for us as a community to be more visible. In the early 90s, there was a group of people who got together and did a float in the Starlight Parade for 2 years. And so we became part of the community then at the Rose Festival. I wanted to continue that, so I came up with the idea of having a dragon boat team. And so I approached the board of LCP, the Lesbian Community Project, and they said, okay, go for it. So you needed a captain, a coach, a tiller, a drummer, and a flag grabber, and then 16 paddlers. And pulling together out of the air 21 people who are interested in doing something that takes so much time, commitment, and is so physical was challenging but fun at the same time. Scheduled a time and a place for the meeting. And I sort of went into the meeting thinking that you need 25 people for a dragon boat team. So I said, well, if I get 10 people to show up, we'll go on with it. As it turned out, there were only 5 or 6 people that showed up, but they were all so excited about it and just really encouraging. And we knew we could get more people once we started talking to our friends and stuff. So we advertised in Just Out. Our slogan was, if you miss the float, catch the boat. We were hoping a lot of people would show up and cheer us on. We really didn't know what we were doing, or how you even get in and get out, and how you drive the thing or paddle it. Or I got a few people from the team together, and we went to the coaching clinic and learned some techniques and learned some conditioning things and how to get the best speed out of the boat. We just had meetings and said, okay, we need a coach. Who wants to be the coach? And whoever raised their hand got to be the coach. So it was a pretty ragtag process, but it was successful in its own way. Back in 1991, I had no idea that the dragon boat races had been only going on for 3 or 4 years. So we were one of the early women's teams, and we were all very excited to be a recreational team and not be too competitive. The spirit of the team was kind of down. So a group of us decided that we were going to go visit the rest of the Rose Festival. So we wandered off, and on our way back to our cars, and we saw this big group of people gathered around. Well, it was the award ceremony. We got there just as they were announcing the women's teams. We got a trophy for being in 4th place. And so then everybody was pretty excited that we had gotten a trophy for being 4th out of 4 teams.
So, higher, more fire. To fight, to conquer, to thrive, I came to win, to survive.
We had a end of the season meeting. I brought up the topic, well, do we want to do it again? And everybody went, well, yeah, of course. That once wasn't enough. We want to keep doing this. So again, even though in my mind we were done, there was so much enthusiasm from the team that we continued on for the 2nd and 3rd, and now it's 20-some years. The first year, the only problem we ran into in being an out lesbian team was that one of the officers in the Dragon Boat Festival was an attorney. Because of the political climate at the time, she was concerned that being an out lesbian team would somehow harm us. But through negotiations with her and explaining our position and why we wanted to do that and why we wanted to be an out team, we succeeded. And over the PA, they kept saying the lesbian word, which was, for that time, pretty phenomenal and pretty exciting. But now when I look at the team, there's committees for community service, there's committees for publicity, there's committees for travel, there's fundraising committees. So from the small ragtag group of people, this organization has really blossomed and changed. It's now a 501c3 or a nonprofit organization itself, and it has a lot. They have two teams. This club has 2 teams. That's amazing to me. It's phenomenal that, first of all, that they still exist, and secondly, they now can host 2 teams for the Rose Festival. It's amazing. There's always 1 or 2 teams that are really, really competitive, practice really hard, do off-season practicing, and really want to win. And eventually, this team became that one. This team became one of those really competitive teams.
They start coming and I start rising. Must be surprising. I'm just surmising. I win, thrive, soar, higher, 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 more fire.
I've never been on a team sport before. Having a coach tell me what to do and how to do it, and then having her tell me what to do and how to do it, and then having her tell me what to do and how to do it, and then finally doing it, that's joyful.
I really enjoy asking somebody to do something that they don't think they can do, because we underestimate ourselves. If somebody just says, you can do this, then they're like, oh, okay, and they try it, and they figure out, it's like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm constantly trying to figure out how to put somebody in a particular position where it challenges them as an individual to take themselves to the next level, or just to start believing that they can do that one thing, because then they can do anything else. I started with the Amazons in '94. My friends on the team wanted me to join, and I told them as soon as the Amazons were competitive, I would join. They were determined that they would be competitive that year. I was pretty hooked right from the beginning. When the Amazons were deciding, I guess, whether to continue to be a team or to adopt the club format, is when I began coaching, and that was somewhere around 2001. I had done some other coaching in other sports before, so it was not a stretch. When I first started with the Amazons, their claim to be competitive, they also told me at the informational meeting that they had a tiller that could do most of the practices but not race weekend. And I thought that was a pretty integral part. So I immediately went home and asked my mom if she wanted to join a team and till, because she had sailing experience. And so she's like, yeah, sure. She's like, well, wait, but do you think they'll mind that I'm not a lesbian? I said, no, they won't. So it was pretty cool to be involved with my mom. My most influential mentor is probably my high school volleyball coach. I appreciated her straightforward coaching style, and her ability to push an individual and still give them their own space to grow and make mistakes and to just keep striving for whatever their goals are, while still being firm enough and very particular about what she expected. Every year I'm asking my paddlers and tillers and flag catchers to do their thing and improve their skills. I'm asking the same thing of myself. to figure out how I can do this job better, figure out how I can get more from each person. You can apply basic paddling to life.
In order to be a good paddler, you need to be coachable. Because the trick, in my opinion, in paddling is, since everybody needs to do the same thing at the same time, we all need to absorb the same information. I always try to process it in my head, and Coach Les always works with me to not put so much emphasis in my head, to let my body start feeling the stroke. She also has given me exercises to work at home, kind of like homework, so I can help myself get my body, get better body awareness. It makes me more disciplined in other sports stuff too. Since I've been paddling, I've done 2 marathons and 3 half marathons.
Coaching women that are strong and have personalities and that are competitive is not an easy task, but really, that's really the only group I want to work with. There isn't even one small decision that I make that I have not thoroughly thought through, knowing that it affects a lot of people. That doesn't feel like a burden to me, but I take that responsibility very seriously. But some of them are pretty hard.
I think it is our coach's decision to make that roster, to decide who's going to be on the boat. And I know that she does it from her heart, that she does it based on what she thinks is going to be the best crew that's going to win, and that's a job that we entrusted in her. I do not believe that because you've paddled more years than someone else that you should automatically get a seat on the boat. I know that I'm fighting for it every year. It was very humbling for me to come back after taking time off for 2 years to be in bench 3. Even more humbling, I sat out a heat. And I think that was good for me. I think it's good to know that you're a part of a larger team and that you have your place and your role.
I think what keeps me coming back is that I love coaching, and I love this Amazon community that we have built and nurtured and continue even through lean years to be a really strong family.
My name is Emily, and I paddle with the Amazons in the mid-2000s to late 2000s. When I was learning to paddle, and I was sitting in bench 2 or 3 sometimes, Piper and Steph were in bench 1, and there was never any question about that. No matter which side I was on, it seemed like I was commonly diagonally across from Piper. Sometimes Steph too, and both of them were instructive in this way, which is to watch the hips. And there have been many hips that I've come to love in this life of mine, but no others that I stared at for such long periods of time. By staring and focusing everything I had on Piper's hips and the way they were moving, I learned how to paddle.
My name is Piper Galucci, and I started paddling with the Amazons in 2000. And I actually didn't consider myself an athlete until about 2008, when I went to Worlds and had to bump up my fitness. Paddling, Pilates, core strength, flexibility, interval training, strength training, and mental. You know, as a woman and as a lesbian, you know, you're always told you're not good enough. And through paddling, I just found that I had to fight myself mentally. So mental fitness is so important. And I still have to do that. I still, at the beginning of a race, look down the line and go, oh my God, can I even make it to the end? And I have to remind myself, yeah, you've never stopped in the middle of a race to go, woo, I'm tired. It starts with saying, I can do it. This is an A. And this is the very first charm. Jen and Les and I picked up with the Sirens, and they do an S for a letterman's jacket. And Les cut out the A's, and I ordered the charms, and we worked on it together. And at the end of the season, you could talk about each individual paddler. It's just really fun to be part of a group and to be part of a group of lesbians. I also put charms from when I was on Team USA and Worlds and World Club Crew. So this is the shirt from 2001's Dragon Boat Race, and I actually have a photo of my dog wearing it. She was an Amazon too. Got together, Jen Miller, Eileen, Les, me, Wendy, Barb Polari. We decided we wanted to become a club instead of a team. So we got together and started an advisory council, and Jen Miller, and she really got the organization together. She drafted the first bylaws. They were like an amazing detailed draft of how you run a club.
And we really just kept working it and reworking it, and we wanted to fit in the camaraderie, we wanted to fit in the positive visibility, and we wanted to fit in being competitive, because we were really focused on having a competitive boat because we wanted to win medals.
I designed the logo. This is the word for dragon. So every time I see the Amazons, when I see the logo, I just feel really proud. How Dryland came about was Wasabi was the team to beat. I did learn that they had pool practice and they had dryland fitness training, and so we started the dryland program where you'd start in February doing a lot of different fitness exercises. Like when we first started out, we had a lot of people who were lesbians that wanted to paddle, and now there's a lot more athleticism on the team, and so the dryland program changes with the needs of the team. The Row for the Cure started because a lot of us on the Amazons did the Race for the Cure. I found out about the Row for the Cure. And so I asked the Amazons if they'd be interested in doing something together. We put a boat together, and in 2004, Wasabi Soar, Survivors on a River, and the Amazons were the two dragon boat teams that were out there. Now it's really grown. I think last year they had 20 teams. It's just great to see how it's really grown over the years. And that the Amazons continue to do it. I'm really grateful. So we were in Curve magazine, the national lesbian magazine, in August 2005. By the way, that's Shannon. She was my coworker, and she's like the best flycatcher in the world. And then she taught strap. So now Loretta's the best flycatcher in the world.
Rookies are kind of fun to observe.
Something on the water, which I've never done.
Gain more muscle.
A sport without lesbian women.
First win, 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 win.
I came out for an open practice, and it was really the hardest thing I'd ever done physically in a very long time.
They've got a lot of coaches, which is great for somebody like me.
And it's like siblings and, relationships. Some of us don't always get along, and that happens too. I would say for the most part, though, we are really supportive, caring, wonderful group of people.
They have helped me become a more positive individual. They give you support through some of the most difficult times in your life. Without their support, you couldn't make it through some situations.
Doing that, and I appreciate everybody that does their part on the team.
My name's Glenn, and I'm a carpenter, and I've been paddling with the Amazons for 9 years. Let's see here, I put a lot of these together. When they come new, you have to cut them down to size, and so I do a lot of that every year because I kind of love it. Well, I come in here, I grab my mallet, and I take it to the job site with me because I always have glue in my truck. It's kind of like a boat. You can have like several different people together. And there's the Rose Festival paddles. This is a special one that our coaching coordinator bought. It's fatter where I need to cut it down than an actual handle. Make a new handle. You start. Somehow get in there square. Start with that. Yeah, I put in time. A lot of times I'll have like 4 or 5, and you just line them up, but They each all need something different. Some only need to be coated once or twice. Some are getting full coats. And they have big bad owies, so it's like they're getting surgery, man. Pam's here will probably get 2 more coats. It's had 1 good coat. Most of it doesn't need to be touched, and the spot that I just kind of repaired has taken pretty well. But in general, they get at least 2 coats. Some people sit and read. Some people watch TV. Some people just go to bed early. I come out to my shop and I turn on the country music. I sand them down, grab some rags and wipe them clean, and put the stuff on. Spar regular thing, marine grade.
The first year we were a club. It's a 2002 Rose Festival. And you'll see in our bio that we submitted, this year the Amazons are ready to build on that proud past by going beyond mere visibility to that of actual presence. This is our charter year as the Amazon Dragons Paddling Club, and our new focus is to allow for increased numbers of participants, year-round fitness and social paddling, increased competitive paddling, and organized service to the community. And we still hold those values today.
We also do community outreach like the breast cancer awareness, and we volunteered for the marathon last year. We've built houses for Habitat for Humanity. We helped Smirk paint their new place. So we're constantly looking for opportunities where we can come together as a group and give back to the community, and we do specifically try to target women's issues and LBGT, the line. Last year we did a progressive dinner. We actually did it as a community service, and we raised, I think it was like $6,000 for breast cancer.
Play poker, smoke an occasional cigar, drink tequila.
One of our paddlers, Demetra, would have tournaments at her house, and she taught us all how to play Texas Hold'em. Various, Amazons would actually have poker tournaments. We've had fundraisers over the years, and we've made a lot of money. We have been having tournaments the last 2 years at a friend of mine's house. He has actually dealt in the World Series of Poker. We call him the Dean of Poker.
Novice players usually play in a house, so, they usually do really well.
Drafted me and I got knocked out of the tournament.
You have to remember to pay her next time when I play you to shine your shoes. Miller just gets this grin on her face after drinking a little tequila. And you can't read her. If you have any kind of issue with a sore throat, tequila is medicinal. It just soothes. And I suppose if you have any kind of virus going on, it's just going to kill it right then.
We are very, very fortunate to provide the best in town, which is 100% agave. I am a huge fan of sports, and there isn't anything that we wouldn't do to support locals and their safety. Sport, the thing that keeps the soul yearning for more. Well, we're looking forward to it as well, and the best of luck to you all.
5 Amazons were chosen to be on the first ever USA Women's International team competing in Hong Kong. So a composite team again from across the country, but 5 Amazons, including us, went in '96. So that was pretty cool.
That all of the past Amazons, if you ask them, I think they can recall at least one thing that they got out of being an Amazon.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, It's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
I'm really glad that the city of Portland still has an out Amazon dragon boat team.
What Chris Mack started way back in the day with the Visibility Project has empowered so many women. We continue to be visible everywhere. She gave us our lives.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know?